It's finally time to start installing the turbo, so let's get to it. If you're new to the channel, my name's Matt, and I'm working on installing a turbo onto my daily driver, my Chevy Cruze, which has a 1.8, and they just don't make a kit for it, so I'm making it up as I go. So if they don't make a turbo kit for your car, maybe this will be helpful. Alright, I got everything I need. My turbo, my manifold. Oh yes, this is the tube that the blow-off valve mounts to. I just got a handful of the tools out. I know I'll need some more. Beard, that's very important. My air filter, my HKS blow-off valve. Got a little turbo blanket here. The valve cover, gasket, gauge for the boost. While I'm at it, I'm going to replace the oil cooler seals. Cabin air filter, happened to get a deal from AutoZone, which there's my fluids over there. So I'm going to have to completely drain the radiator and the oil, of course. Got some assorted sealers, anti-seize lubricant, thread sealant. Why is this coming open? Thread locker, this is a thread sealant, this is anti-seize, this is the copper gasket. I did end up getting a gasket. Here's some ultra gray for the pan. There it is. Got a little bit. It's not the multi-layer shim gasket, because you've seen some of my previous videos. This thing, I had it machined pretty flat, this exhaust manifold, and they just recommended getting something a little thicker. So we got that. Of course, our turbo, our manifold, and then the assorted gaskets, the little flange that goes to it, the V-band clamp, O2 sensor bungs, which here's all. I've got a tubing kit for the exhaust, which I'm going to run 2.5 inch all the way back. It's 2 1/4 currently. There's a Flowmaster FX, a little flex pipe, and I got a bunch of stuff from Summit here. Got some flanges, the 3-bolt type. So I'm pretty much going to replicate the stock exhaust. Run it all the way back, hang it in the same spots. Got some hangers. Here we go. Here's the 2-bolt flange, whatever you want to call it. The 2-bolt flange. Piece of swan pipe for the down pipe. A couple assorted welders. All my fittings for the oil drain. This is 10N. And then we got our feed line, which is 4N. I do have another piece I'm waiting on, but it's supposed to be here tomorrow. Before I fire the car up, hopefully that'll come in tomorrow. If not, I'll just make do with this. It does have a restrictor. I don't recommend a restrictor for a journal bearing turbo. So I'm going to drill this restrictor out if I have to use this until the banjo style of 4N fitting comes in. An oil catch can. Went ahead and got a couple sorted tools, so I'm not having to search through my toolbox. I know I have some metric. This is all metric stuff here. This is a quick disconnect for the fuel, because we will be upgrading the fuel injectors. A little bit of paint. In the previous video I modified this flange here, so I'm going to use a little paint, take that off, paint it up. PB Blaster throttle body cleaner, the Wicks. Here's the catalytic converter. It's a high flow cat, 2.5 inch. Got an O2 sensor socket. A tip, a black tip, kind of going for that murdered out look. And of course the intercooler tubing. There's all the tubing that's going to go on it. The intercooler is sitting in a box over there. I'll show you that later once we get to that point. Okay, that's a lot of stuff to put on. The first thing I'm going to do is pull the car around, drain out all the coolant, and then drain the oil and start taking stuff off the motor. Engine, it's technically an engine, but let's go ahead and get to it. Got my shop fan on the car at the moment, so that way you can kind of cool things down and start to work on it. I got the car jacked up on jack stands as I'm working under the thing. I'm gonna have that jack, the hydraulic jack next to me in case, because I never completely feel 100% comfortable underneath the car that can crush you. However, my idea is that it'll be easier for me to work on the exhaust, plus all the fluids drain out on the other side anyways. Got my exhaust disconnected there, got the bracket removed that supports the exhaust itself, and because my stuff is welded up here, I took the old cutoff wheel, being careful not to hit the oil pan, of course. I've got my O2 sensor, my downstream O2 sensor disconnected. It is actually easiest to just disconnect it from up top here. You can easily reach back there and disconnect it. The manifold's off. There it is there. You can see it has a catalytic converter. Now the next thing I need to do is take off this oil cooler, put some new seals in it, and then we can get to the fun stuff, installing a turbo. Well, I gotta take the oil pan off as well, but we're getting there. Alright, that should be it. Still leaking. You can see the seals just stuck right in the block. Things are nice and hardened. I'll have to clean that up pretty good. There we go. Ooh. What? Bro. I don't know if that's dirt or sludge or what. Alright. Going to clean this thing up. Thanks, Shannon, for fluffing up my head. Got the oil cooler all taken care of. Cleaned the outside of it as much as I cared to, but I got all the gasket seals cleaned up, so. Now for some of the fun stuff. So there is the oil pressure sender unit, thingamabobber. So I'm just going to disconnect it, because here's where we're going to get our feed for our turbo for the oil. So I'm going to go ahead and unbolt this thing, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, the fittings that came with that kit will mate right up to it. Do your magic, little wrench. Actually, it's a pretty good sized wrench. There we go. Broken free. That should just come out by hand. Ah, yes, there we go. Yeah, it looks like it'll be the right size, hopefully. Alright, so here are the fittings for the feed. Got ourselves a little block off, 4-way little block here. Hope it works. Hope it works. Oh yeah. Yeah. I use this Permatex stuff. By the way, again, I'll leave a link to all this stuff that I'm using, guys and gals. You got a 1.8 and you're a gal, be cool to turbo it. Turbo your wife mobile. Take that. Put a little bit of thread sealer on there. So that will go into the block. Probably hook that up first. Yeah, let's go ahead and install this into the car. We'll have this, and that guy. Let's head over to the car and install this. Alright, I'm going to try and film as much as I can of this one-handed. We got this end going in first, and I'm going to snug it up. Man, and this is just kind of one of those spots too where if I don't get it tight enough, it will be pretty damn hard to get to. Alright, I put these pieces together off camera. Now we need to insert this into the block. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this on there. Yeah, I might have to stick it out that way. We'll figure it out. I think I can make this work. Alright, so here's what I came up with. I got the sensor up top, turbo feed line running through the AC compressor in between that bracket right there. And it will come up and around, and I think that'll do it. Now I'm just going to put the oil cooler on just to make sure this thing will clear. This setup right here. So let's go ahead and toss it on. Woo! Man, that took some finagling. But I got the oil cooler on. Alright, you can see, if I can get my light down there, it's in there pretty snug, the oil feed line and everything. But I got it bolted up. Now it's time to hang the turbo. Oh, snap! Well, I got the manifold all torqued down. I got the turbo just kind of semi-installed. I still need to go back and tighten up some bolts on the turbine housing and coat or spray paint that wastegate flange, and it is really late / early in the morning. I'm gonna get a little bit of rest and hit it in the morning. See you then. Ow! Well, it is early the next day. I could hardly sleep. Got maybe about a good 4 hours worth of sleep in. I got the turbo off, sitting over there on this crate. I'm gonna take that bracket off and spray paint it, and while that bracket dries, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the oil pan. Well, my cordless drill died on me, my camera batteries are dying on me, and my phone's dying on me. But I got a friend on the way to bring over a cordless drill. In the meantime, I'm gonna let some batteries charge, and I'm gonna start putting this turbo on the car. So hopefully I don't miss out on too much, or try and save as much as I can, but I need to get this done. All right, I'm gonna take a little anti-seize lubricant, stick it on these threads here. I had to remove the other two because my turbo flange was kind of bent, so I have to put the turbo on and then thread those in, and then it'll go in. It'll go in. Aaron showed up to bail me out. What's this? Oh, blow off valve.
That was in the freaking. I was digging through my parts for the 240.
All right, the turbo's all bolted up. I get some close-ups here in a little bit. I'm gonna move on with the oil pan. Aaron's going to hopefully bring by a tab that will work. In the meantime, I'm going to take the valve cover off and replace the gasket. And I need to remove the throttle body, so that way I can clean the throttle body while the coolant's out. And who knows, maybe I'll just go ahead and do the intercooler piping too. Got the throttle body all nice and clean. Now while the throttle body is off, I'm gonna see if I can't drill and tap this bad boy into the intake just after the throttle body. Man, I've been going at it since 9 a.m. and yesterday as well. It's starting to wear on me. But I've made some awesome progress. So I changed out the valve cover gasket, got the oil pan in, buttoned up. It's been over an hour, so I'm gonna get under there and torque it to spec. Got the oil bung on. The bung for the, man, I can't think right now. The bung for the oil catch can to get rid of the positive crankcase pressure. There you go, Matt, you got it. Got the throttle body all cleaned up, along with a bung down over here for the blow off valve. So we're moving right along. I'm gonna get under the car, tighten up those hand bolts to spec, and then I'm either going to do the exhaust or hook up the oil feed and drain. I think I'll do the oil feed and drain first. I don't feel like crawling on the ground at the moment. Let's go ahead and do that. I think while I'm here, before I go ahead and mock the stuff up on the car, so I'm going to go ahead and hook this up to this flange. If I can find my, man, I need to get stuff organized. I'm just all disorganized right now. Got crap all over the place. Even though this is exhausting, it's definitely fun. A lot of work. So I just put a little thread sealer on it, just in case, even though it is a pipe fitting. But alright, so I'm going to tighten this down and then I'll see you over by the car. So there's the 45-degree fitting on the oil pan. There's the straight piece right there. I got my tube marked off. So I'm going to cut it and then assemble everything. And then we'll do the feed. So that way I'll have all this hooked up and I know where to route my exhaust. Time to hook up the oil feed. The kit did come with this part here, which I drilled out because it was metered. From my understanding, journal bearing turbos don't need to be metered, and if you're having smoke issues, it's because it's not draining fast enough. So I drilled that out. Let's go ahead and install this. Well, it is a new day. I started working on the downpipe for the turbo. I'm going to go ahead and prime the oil system, and then we'll fire this thing up for the first time. I got the injector fuses out. There's a couple fuses here for 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and I have the ignition coil unplugged, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the key, see if we can't prime up the oil to the turbo, and I'm going to do a first start with just the turbo on in the downpipe. Hopefully it's not too bad, so I can make it to the store to finish this thing up. Alright, we're getting oil. Need to reinstall this. Alright, everything's back on. Let's do a first test start. Well, that's about it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the bell so that way you get notifications, because next video I will be installing a full custom exhaust. Until then, we'll see you next time. Peace out with your peace out.